Hi there. I want to share how to block print a tablecloth, and you can do this for any holiday or occasion. It's fairly easy and very cheap to do because you just need a piece of fabric, and I have a top sheet that I got at a thrift store and some acrylic paint and textile medium, or you can use speedball block printing ink. So the amount of tools that you need to have is fairly limited, and you can create something unique to you. This is also great to do with children, depending on the size of your block or rubber stamp. Keeping it smaller will make it a lot easier, but having them be involved in the process makes it a fun family activity, and you can do something unique to your family, unique to you and your style. The material that I'm using is a thrifted top sheet, a king size top sheet, and I took this and I tore off the folded over edge for the top of the top sheet, and I tore that off, and then I double folded it and hemmed that. So I have a nice hem all the way around this piece of fabric to make a nice tablecloth. And the nice thing about top sheets is that they are already hemmed on 3 sides, so you just have to do a quick hem at that top layer to have a ready to go tablecloth. This is a king size. You can use twin, queen, double, whatever. You can also get material at a craft store or fabric store and hem that and use that as a tablecloth as well. And you can also use this process to make matching napkins if you want to do the block printing on napkins as well. Today I'll be using textile medium mixed with acrylic craft paint to do this on fabric. So the textile medium transforms the acrylic paint into a fabric paint. So I have a collection of different acrylic paints here that I will mix up into my own color, and then add 1 part textile medium to 1 part acrylic paint, and that turns into a fabric paint. Create your own block like this one that I have that I'm going to use today. You'll have some sort of linoleum, and it comes in soft, medium, and hard. And I go over all the materials and how to make your own custom block in this video up here, and also how to create your own rubber stamp in this video. So check those out to learn how to create your own rubber stamp or block printing block. They're pretty much the same thing. One is better for paper and one works better on fabric. The more flexible it is, the better it works on fabric. If you enjoy making things, like this video because it'll help me make more and better videos. The next step is to create your paint mixture. I'm going to create a custom color, and I have a large piece of fabric here, so I'll need a lot of paint, but I'm not going to put all of that paint on my palette to begin with because that would be too much paint to work with. So we're going to have to work in batches, which means that if you're mixing multiple colors, you're going to want to be somewhat careful with knowing how much you added of each color so that you can recreate that color mix. So I'm going to go for a teal color, and I'm going to do 1 part green, and I'm going to do about a silver dollar size amount of each color, 1 part blue, and then mix this up and see how it looks. And you can play around with the color mixing until you're satisfied with the color that you come up with. And of course, this is your tablecloth, so you can use multiple colors. You can use 1 color throughout the whole thing. Stamp around the edges, cover the whole thing with print. And now I'm going to add the textile medium, and I have quite a bit of paint here, so I'm gonna try to mix this up with an equal part textile medium. And I might just take half of this paint and mix half of it, and then as I need more, mix more textile medium in because I'm starting to use up my space. Make sure to mix your bottles before pouring them down. So there's about 1 to 1, and then mix this in. And you want to mix it in until you don't see any of the translucentness of the textile medium. Lay out your piece of fabric on your work surface, and you need to decide which side is the side you want to be facing up, so which side has the print. And for me, that is the side so the wrong side is the side that has the folds, and then the right side is the flat fabric. So you can orient that however you want, and then lay it out on your surface. And I'm working with white fabric, and I'll be doing the blue print on it. You can pre-dye your fabric if you want to change the color using fiber reactive dyes. If you're using a natural fiber material like cotton, linen, silk. You can do that before you do the block print. Okay, so now we're ready to start printing on the fabric, and I'm gonna start on one edge and work down the length of the fabric. When you're working with your palette of ink or paint and your piece is covering the entire table, you'll need a side spot to put your palette so that you don't end up with splots of paint on your material as you're working. So get some sort of side table or cart or something that you can set this on and then work from one area. If your block has edges like this where the design could be connected, you can lay your block so that it matches up with your last print and continue that design. If your block is standalone or you want to change the pattern or how it lays on your tablecloth, go ahead and orient however you want. You can do this random, you can do it in rows, you can do it however you want to lay out the design. So it is good to think through how you want your design to lay out before you start printing, and maybe even lightly sketch in some lines with a pencil to show the way you want it to flow. If you're going to do something specific like laying out a heart with the shapes that you're using, or doing nice rows, you might want to lay out nice rows with a pencil so that you can follow those nice straight lines. I am using a foam brayer to transfer paint to the block. The foam texture picks up paint and is able to grip the palette so that it rolls easily. Turn the block face down once inked and place gently on your fabric. Place carefully, you only get one chance here. If it moves, then it'll get slightly smudged. So place your block onto the fabric, and then I use my rubber brayer to transfer the paint from the block onto the fabric, or using it to roll over the block and press the print onto it, and then carefully lift from one corner. And each time you will be reloading your block with paint. So once you've done a print, reload it with paint using your foam brayer, and then place the block and do another print. If you begin to see that the paint is filling the crevices of your block and is starting to transfer or leak onto your fabric as you're printing, you can rinse this off with some water and maybe a light paintbrush to go into the cracks and kind of rinse that out to remove that and restart to print with your block. And do that every couple of prints to make sure you get a nice crisp print. So right in here you can see I start to lose some of the design. After you've printed your entire tablecloth, or as much as you want to print, you will allow it to dry for 24 hours, and then you'll want to heat set the print by using an iron. So the fabric that you're using will determine the setting on your iron. So I'm using a cotton fabric. I'm going to use a cotton setting on my iron, and then put a pressing cloth over your material in one section, and you'll do one section at a time, and run the iron over that section, and that will heat set the ink so that you can then wash it and none of the ink or paint will wash out. I have the finished tablecloth here. I shortened down the size a bit, so it's about half the size of the king sheet that I had, and I did a couple different colors so you can see the full piece on the table here. The colors or the print matched up, so you can see the pattern kind of matched up to create the circles. So this square here is the design, and then where they match up, you kind of get the circle motif where it matches up together, and the star or flower here. Thanks so much for watching how to block print a tablecloth. Be sure to check the links in the description below for all kinds of goodies and resources on the tools and materials I used in this video today. And check out my video courses on how to weave your own baskets. I have several of those linked in the description below as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Happy making. I finished my lion's mane coffee. My camera operator is crapping out on me.